get familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
Hello students, welcome back to my video. So this is the video part number 13 for you. So I am going to discuss some numerical problems on special theory of relativity in this video. Okay, so let us start with the first problem. So just go through the problem and note down the problem also. So just I will read out first. So the first problem is, see, an observer on the earth measures the length of a moving spaceship, okay, to be exactly half of its rest length. Okay, calculate, there are two parts here, calculate the speed of the spaceship and the time dilation corresponds to 1 second on the spaceship. Okay, is it clear? Now, so once again you go through the problem, what you have to calculate. See, the problem asks you to find the time dilation and the speed of the spaceship, right? So this problem is based on the length contraction and time dilation. So there are two concepts you know already, okay? How to calculate the length contraction, so according to special theory of relativity. So because, so there is a object here. So what is that object? So observer on the earth measures the length of the moving spaceship. Okay, moving spaceship is the some object whose length is measured by an observer on the earth. Okay, and he found to be it is exactly half of its rest length. So actual length is measured by the observer in the spaceship itself. Okay, that is called actually proper length, because spaceship is moving and the observer is also moving along with it. Okay, that is why he find whatever the length of the spaceship according to his observer, okay, his observation. So its length is found to be proper length, but the same length is measured by the observer on the earth. Okay, so that is measured length L. Okay, there is a difference. So you find that it is exactly half of its rest length. Rest length in the sense you have to understand it is constant length or proper length. So now let us see. So what is given then in the data? L is equal to L naught by 2. If L naught is considered as the proper length, okay, according to spaceship observer, then earth observer is found to be half of its actual length. L naught by 2 you should write, right? So because L and L naught are not equal to each other according to the length contraction equation. So here L is equal to L naught by 2, they are given already. And then time T naught is equal to 1 second. So that is what actually measured here. The time dilation corresponds to 1 second on the spaceship. So in the spaceship, whatever it is measured time, okay, according to the spaceship observer, so time T naught is equal to 1 second. Okay, so now let us proceed to find first what is the corresponding velocity to reduce the length of the spaceship to half of its value. So consider the known equation in the first part. L is equal to L naught into square root of 1 minus V square by C square, correct? So the relation between L and L naught is like this. Now we can just rearrange this equation for the velocity. So squaring and simplifying, I have written here squaring and simplifying means if you take L by L naught at one side and take the squaring on both sides, it will become L by L naught whole square, and this side square root cancels, left with only 1 minus V square by C square, and further by cross multiplication C square will go this side, and then if you take again square root on both sides, you will get V is equal to C into square root of 1 minus L by L naught whole square. Okay, so this is one mathematical step you have to simplify to get the equation for velocity, because they ask you to calculate with what velocity the spaceship is moving, right? Okay, substitute now the given data here. So C into square root of 1 minus, so you take the L given it as L naught by 2. Okay, I will take it as L naught by 2 here, and then you can see that L naught cancel each other. Okay, so this is 1 by 2 whole square, you can write it as now 1 by 4. Square root of 1 by 4, simplify it, LCM is equal to 4. So 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So inside the square root, so divided by square root of 4, it is equal to only 2. Okay, so C times of root 3 by 2, you are getting, if you know the velocity of light, C is equal to 3 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Okay, it is multiplied by root 3 by 2, will give you the answer 2.6. It is not equal to 3 now. Okay, it is just less than the velocity of light. So 2.6 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second will be the velocity of the spaceship. So if the spaceship is moving with that velocity, then its length appears to be half of its actual length to the observer on the earth. Okay, so you try to understand the concept also in this problem. And further, second part of the calculation is what is the time observed by the observer on the earth. Okay, so again we have the equation for time dilation. T is equal to T naught by square root of 1 minus v square by c square, right? So T naught already they have given, it is measured according to moving observer as 1 second. So divided by square root of 1 minus v square by c square, you know. So that v by c ratio, okay, you can see here. So what is the ratio of v by c? See, here only we have. So if it is a v and if it is a c, so v by c is equal to how much? By taking the cross multiplication, v by c is equal to root 3 by 2 only again. So substitute directly now, root 3 by 2 whole square. So that is equal to 3 by 4. So square root of 1 by 1 minus 3 by 4, you simplify and finally you will get the calculation part. Okay, you will get the time is equal to now 2 seconds. It is not equal to 1 second as observed by spaceship. Okay, so now it is observed by the observer on the earth is equal to 2 seconds, longer time. Okay, time dilation is found to be 2 seconds here between the two observers on the spaceship and on the earth observer. Okay, so that is all about the calculation in the first problem. So note down the next problem, so which is similar to the previous one. So here a stationary rod is found to be 20 meter long by an observer on the earth. Okay, so with respect to the observer, the rod is assumed to be stationary and whose length is found to be 20 meter. Okay, so that is the proper length. With what velocity should it move? Now further assume that the rod is going to move parallel to its length. Okay, like this, it is going to move parallel to its length, then only you can see the reduction in the length, right? So that its apparent length relative to the observer is reduced to now how much? 5 meter. Okay, calculate the percentage reduction in the length also. So first of all you have to calculate with what velocity the rod has to move parallel to its length, so that its length reduces from 20 meter to 5 meter, and then what is the percentage in the reduction in the length of the rod. Okay, that is a given problem for you. Okay, then you look at the given data first. So what is the proper length of the rod? That is L naught equal to 20 meter, apparent length is equal to 5 meter. Okay, then let the velocity of the moving rod is equal to v, then we can have the equation as length contraction, L is equal to L naught square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Simplify this equation for v. So as usual, so squaring on both sides and then taking L square by L naught square at one side, and then rearranging the equation for velocity v, you will get v equal to c into square root of 1 minus L by L naught whole square. That's it. Now you substitute the given data. Okay, what is c given? 3 into 10 power of 8 meter per second. So inside the square root 1 minus L by L naught, you know, that is 5 by 20 whole square, right? And then simplify it. Okay, you will get the value of velocity as 2.9 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So that is a little less than always velocity of light. Okay, with that velocity the rod has to move in the parallel direction, so that its length reduces from how much? 20 meter to 5 meter. Okay, then if the length reduces from 20 meter to 5 meter, what is the contraction happened here? 20 minus 5 you have to do, isn't it? So 20 minus 5 is equal to 15 meter is the contraction in the length. So percentage of contraction can be calculated like this. So L naught by L, so reduction in the length divided by actual length into 100. Substitute it. So 15 divided by 20 into 100. So calculation part will give you percentage contraction as 75% in the length contraction. Clear? So take up the next problem then. So note down the next problem, in which a particle of rest mass m naught moves with a speed 0.6 c. Okay, speed of the particle is found to be 0.6 times of c. C means what? Velocity of light. So calculate its mass, momentum, total energy and kinetic energy. So there is a particle moving with the velocity nearly equal to velocity of light, nearly 0.6 times of velocity of light. Then what are the physical parameters to be calculated here? Mass, momentum, total energy and even kinetic energy also. Okay, so very simple problem. So first write down the given data, V equal to 0.6 times of c. Then use the equation of the relativistic mass, that is m is equal to m naught by square root of 1 minus v square by c square, right? Okay, now we have to substitute the given velocity of the particle v as 0.6 times of c. So 0.6 c whole square it is, correct? So now I can cancel this c square. So left with m naught by square root of only 1 minus 0.6 whole square. Okay, so calculate it. So you will get in the denominator 0.8, or the reciprocal of that is equal to 1.25 into m naught. But what is the rest mass of the particle? It is not given. So that is why just I am writing the relativistic mass of the particle when it is moving with the velocity 0.6 times of c. Okay, is found to be 1.25 times of its rest mass. Okay, so write down the value as it is in terms of rest mass itself. Then let us proceed to calculate the next parameter, that is momentum. So you know the equation for momentum as P is equal to mv, right? So now consider this m as the relativistic mass, that is calculated as 1.25 m naught. Okay, then multiply the given velocity of the particle as 0.6 times of c. Okay, then calculate it 1.25, 0.6 and c is the velocity of light, 3 into 10 power of 8 into m naught again. So you will get in terms of m naught, momentum of the particle is 2.25 into 10 power of 8 into m naught. Okay, and then the next parameter is total energy. So E is equal to mc square. Formula is E is equal to mc square. Substitute again relativistic mass 1.25 m naught, c square is 3.8 whole square. Okay, so that you will get the energy in terms of rest mass is 11.25 10 power of 16 times of m naught. And then further kinetic energy, so kinetic energy is the difference of total energy minus rest mass energy, because total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus rest mass energy. So I will take kinetic energy as total energy minus rest mass energy also. So total energy already calculated as how much, 11.25 10 power of 6 m naught, and rest mass energy is given by Einstein's equation as m naught into c square, right? So now substitute it as 9 m naught into c square, so I will write only c square here. C square means the 3 into 10 power of 8 whole square is 9 into 10 power of 16. Okay, c square is 9 into 10 to the power of 16 into m naught as it is, and here also we have m naught. So you leave the m naught as common and calculate the remaining part. You will get 2.25 into 10 to the power of 16 m naught as the kinetic energy of the particle. That's it. Okay. Okay, note down the next problem. So read out here, at what speed should a clock be moved so that it may appear to lose 1 minute in each hour? So here we are assuming that a clock itself is moving with some velocity. Let us say you have to find that velocity here. With what velocity or with what speed the clock has to move so that in that speed it has to lose its time 1 minute in each hour. Because of time dilation, you would assume that there is a loss of time, or moving clock measures always longer time, isn't it? So T naught is equal to 59 minutes. So once the time reduces to 1 minute in 1 hour, then you have to consider the time measurement after losing 1 minute in 1 hour. That is called actually the proper time with respect to moving clock, isn't it? With respect to moving clock, it is losing its time as 1 minute. That is why 59 minutes is the measurement by a moving clock. Okay, and then the time measured by stationary observer should be actually 60 minutes it is. Okay, so the time difference is now 1 minute. So with what velocity the clock has to move? Substitute it now in the equation. So time dilation is given by now T is equal to T naught by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Okay, simplify the equation by taking by cross multiplication. Square root of 1 minus v square by c square is equal to T naught by T, or taking squaring on both sides, you will get actually the equation like 1 minus T naught square by T square, okay, and then that if it is a V by C, then what is the equation for V? So V is equal to C into square root of 1 minus T naught square by T square, okay. Substitute the value of C and the value of T naught 59 and T is equal to 60 minutes. So after simplification or calculation, you will get the answer as 5.4 10 to the power of 7 meter per second is the velocity of the moving clock, okay. Note down the next problem. So what is the momentum of a proton having the kinetic energy 1 billion electron volts? So rest mass of the energy is found to be 938.3 mega electron volts for the proton. So if the rest mass of the proton is 938.3 mega electron volts, then you have to find the corresponding momentum of a proton, okay, when it is moving with the kinetic energy how much? 1 billion electron volts, okay. So again it is based on the relativistic energy. Concept is relativistic energy. So in the data part you write rest mass energy, okay, when the particle is at rest. So we have the equation like m naught c square, you know, rest mass energy is given by with the rest mass m naught into c square. So it is already given how much it is, 938.3 mega electron volts, and when it is moving, then kinetic energy of the proton is found to be 1 billion electron volts. That means, so 1 billion can be converted to mega electron volts like this also, right. So 10 to the power of 9 is the billion value. So I can write it as 10 to the power of 3 into 10 to the power of 6, okay. So mega, 10 to the power of 6 can be taken as mega. So 10 to the power of 3 mega electron volts, okay. So now use the equation for the relativistic momentum using the concept of total energy square is equal to P square C square plus m naught square into C to the power of 4. So we have that relativistic energy equation derived already in the previous videos, okay. Now in this equation, what is the total energy? So total energy is equal to rest mass energy plus kinetic energy, right. So rest mass energy is nothing but what? M naught C square plus kinetic energy, okay. So that you can substitute now equation 2 into equation 1, where the total energy can be taken as now m naught c square plus kinetic energy. So it is whole square is there. So I will write here from equation 1 and 2 m naught c square plus kinetic energy whole square as per this e square, okay. Right hand side same as it is, p square c square plus m naught square c to the power of 4. Now substitute the given values. M naught c square is given how much? 938.3 mega electron volts. So kinetic energy is equal to how much? 10 to the power of 3 mega electron volts, okay. Both are in mega electron volts, okay. So substitute and take the whole square, even mega electron volts also whole square it is. So is equal to p square c square plus, okay. So again m naught c, so m naught square c to the power of 4 is nothing but what? So square of this value only. So that is 938.3, so mega electron volt whole square, okay. So just make the proper substitution for this m naught square c to the power of 4 from this value, okay. Then go and simplify for p square c square or pc, p into c is equal to, you will get the square root of 10 to the power of 6 is common. So into left with 1 plus 1.877, okay. So mega electron volt square root becomes just mega electron volts directly. So only for the value I am writing the square root here, okay. So check this calculation for p into c, right. So if you calculate, you will get 1.696 into 10 to the power of 3 mega electron volts. But what I want here, momentum p. So therefore p is equal to 1.696 into 10 to the power of 3 mega electron volts divided by c. C value is 3 into 10 to the power of 8, velocity of light. So after calculation, I think you will get the value of momentum as 9.045 into 10 to the power of minus 19. So momentum unit is Newton second. You should write Newton second here. So these are some of the problems I have solved on special theory of relativity. So see you in the next video then.